take-home quiz, take-home test number 4. For mainly this test includes related rates and implicit differentiation questions. Question number 1 is if x is equal negative 1, y equal 2, then what is the value of dy dx? dy dx means implicit for the curve defined by this function. This function looks implicit, so because all the x's and y's are mixed together, y is not by itself, so it's implicit. We have to use whenever we take a derivative of y, we're going to keep the dy dx with it. So let's take the derivative e to y. E to the power x derivative is ex times the derivative of x, which is 1. So e to y is going to stay e to y times the derivative of 2y, which is 2. And we're going to keep the dy dx with it because this 2 is the derivative of this exponent, and we're going to keep the dy dx with it. Plus, that's a product rule, which is f, and that's the g. We make bracket. Whether I need it or not, I just keep the product rule or quotient rule or anything like that separate within the brackets. So product rule said f prime times g plus f times g prime. So f derivative is 1, g is going to stay as it is, plus f is going to stay as it is, and g derivative is 1, and we're going to keep the dy dx because g is a y value, a y function. Then 6x. Now remove the parentheses and fix this around it. So I got 2e2y dy dx plus y plus x and dy dx equal 6x. Keep all the dy dx's on one side and the other terms on the other side. So these are dy dx's. I'm going to keep on this side. 6x stays, and y we subtract both sides, and it's going to come up here. Now dy dx is my common factor, and we left with 2e2y plus x and 6x minus y. We divide 2e2y plus x both sides, and we divide 2e2y plus x both sides. I'm done. Now I have to plug in my values. I have a dy dx equal 6 times x value is negative 1, so it's going to be negative 6, minus y value is 2. I got 2e to the power 4 because y value is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, plus or negative 1. X value is negative 1. So I got negative 8 over 2e to the power 4 minus 1. So the answer is C. Question number 2. The radius of the circle is increasing. That's a related rate question. Radius of the circle is increasing at the constant rate. So what is increasing or what is changing at the rate? Radius. So it means I have a dr dt. Whatever is changing at the rate, that's a radius. It's increasing. That's 0.2 is the dr dt. What is the rate of the increase in the area of the circle? So area of the circle is increasing, which means dA dt I'm looking for. At the instant is also means derivative. When the circumference of the circle is 20 pi, circumference is 20 pi. I don't know why they are giving me circumference. We will figure it out. But I start my question what they are asking me. So area of the circle, since they are asking dA dt, so area of the circle is pi r square. I'm going to take a derivative, dA dt. Pi stays 2r dr dt. So r is missing here. Do you see the r is missing? Everything else is there. dA dt I'm looking for. 2 pi r is not there, but dr is 0.2. So I'm missing this r. That's why I have a circumference. So I have to use a circumference formula to get the r. So circumference is 20 pi equal 2 pi. They are always give me information extra that we need it somewhere, but always start your question what they're asking you and go from there. So pi cancel out, and 2 times 10 is 20, so r is equal 10. So r is equal 10. So 2 times 10 is 20 pi. times 0.2, then it's gonna give me 4 pi. Plug this in the calculator, you will get that, and the answer is C. Question number 3. This question is implicit differentiation, and you can tell y's and x's are mixed together in xy. The first one is a product rule. So this is f, that's a g, and the product rule says f prime times g plus f times g prime. So take the derivative of f, which is 1, keep the y squared, plus now I remember I'm putting my rules in the brackets, plus g stays as it is, then we have f stays as it is, x, and the y derivative is 2y dy dt, dx, sorry, minus 3y squared dy dx equal 2x, and the 5 derivative is 0. Okay, let's make sure that we keep all the 2x y dy dx. I just moved the 2 to the front. Dy dx minus 3y squared dy dx. All the dy dx is on one side, the rest of the stuff up here, so I moved the y square to this side. Now dy dx is my common factor. 2xy minus 3y squared equal 2x minus y squared. You divide 2xy minus 3y squared. You divide 2xy minus 3y squared. That is my question number 3. Okay, so let's see what is going on here. So I got this answer, I'm okay, but they always like their answers that in order, like the y square supposed to be in the front, y square supposed to be in the front. So if I do that, I'm gonna get negative y square, which is not okay. So just multiply everything by negative 1. So it's gonna give me positive y square and negative 2x, and it's gonna give me positive 3y square and negative 2xy, and you guys can tell the answer is A. And if you just stop right there and you check, you're gonna say, okay, y squared is positive negative 2x, so the only difference in this one is the signs, and they switch their places, so it means they are multiplying by negative and they are one in order. Question number 4. Question number 4 is a spherical snowball is melting, which means subtract, in such a way that its volume is decreasing also, you know, volume and at the rate. So volume means dv dt is increasing, decreasing means it's changing, and it's decreasing, then I have negative 2. At what rate is the radius decreasing? So dr dt is missing. Whatever is changing is going to be something dt. What is that something changing? Or the word rate, or the decrease, or the increase, that means changing. Radius is equal 7. So volume formula of the sphere is this, and the question is asking dr dt. So the formula is 4/3 pi r cube, and I'm going to take a derivative, dv dt equal 4/3 pi stays 3r squared dr dt. That one is kind of simple. dv dt is given negative 2, 3 and 3 cancel out. So I got 4 pi r was 7, so 49, and dr dt. So 49 times 4, 49 times 4, 49 times 4 is going to give me 196. So I got 196 pi dr dt equal negative 2. So divide negative 2 by 196 pi equal dr dt. It's going to give me 1/98. So my answer is negative 1/98 pi, and that's my answer for dr dt. Now, you will be thinking, why do I have a negative sign here when they don't have a negative? Since they use the word decreasing, they are already telling me the rate of the radius is decreasing. So when they use the word decreasing, I don't have to put that negative sign there. So that's the reason. Question number 5. The volume of the cube is decreasing. So what is decreasing? Volume of the cube when it's changing at the rate. So look for the word rate, decreasing, instance, one, when, and all of those words. So it says volume of the cube is decreasing at the rate, which means volume is changing. Then we should have a dV dt there. And it's decreasing, then it's supposed to be negative 36. What is the rate of change of surface area? Rate of change of surface area, dA dt, which is missing, when the length of the edge of the cube is 2 inches. So edge is 2 inches. I'm just going to write E, or maybe just a capital E. This means edge is 2. Now, the formula that I'm going to use, since they are giving me volume and they are giving me area, but I'm going to start what they are asking me first. It's dA dt. So what is the area of the cube? Area of the cube is 6 sides, and it's going to be E square. Side is E. I'm just going to say side is E, like an edge. So take a derivative of this. It's going to give me dA dt. 6 times 2 is 12. E dE dt. Since we have to have a E because the edge is 2, and also dE dt is gonna be there because they said the surface area is changing, which means the surface area is changing, then of course the sides are also changing. That's why the surface area is changing. So dE dt is there, but the problem is we don't have a dE dt. So that's why they are giving me dV, which means they want me to use a volume formula, which is E cube. So let's do the dV dt and use a volume formula. dV dt is given, and I will get the dE dt. So 3E square dE dt. dV dt is negative 36, 3. Edge is 2 squared, and dE dt is that what missing. So that's 4 times 3 is 12. Negative 36 divided by 12, then it's going to give me dE dt. 12 times 3 is 36. So dE dt is negative 3. So let's put the negative 3 here. The edge was 2, and that's a 12, and dA dt that I'm looking for actually. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 times 3. 24 times 3 is 12 and 7, 72. So it's going to be negative 72. dA dt is negative 72. And since I'm talking about the surface area, the units are square, inches square per minute, because that's what it is, inches per minute. So negative 72, the answer is C. Question number 6. In the triangle above, shown above, if theta increases at the constant rate of 3 radians per minute, so what is increasing or what is changing, and where is the word rate used for? It's used for d theta dt. Like whenever something is changing, that's where d something dt is gonna go. At what rate the y is decreasing, which means dy dt, they use the word rate, decreasing, that's dy dt, and I'm not looking for that when x is equal 3. So we use SOHCAHTOA here, because they're talking about d theta dt and dy dt. So if I use cosine, it's going to be adjacent, because I have to have this y. Since I'm looking for dy dt, now I have to have a y in the trig function. So adjacent over hypotenuse would work. So I have cosine theta adjacent y over 5. I'm going to rewrite this like 1/5 cosine theta, 1/5 y, like that, and then take a derivative. So cosine derivative is negative sign, keep the inside, that's outside, that's inside, keep the inside as it is, and the inside derivative is 1, and we're going to keep the d theta dt with it, 1/5, and y derivative is 1, and dy dt, since I'm taking a derivative of y, and y is changing. Theta is also changing because d theta dt is given in the question. So now what is sine? What do I plug in for sine? D theta dt, we know it's a 3. So what do I plug in for sine theta? Sine means opposite and hypotenuse. So opposite is 3, hypotenuse is 5. So 3/5. 3 over 5 is sine opposite and hypotenuse, yes, equal 1/5 dy dt. Now 3 times 3 is 9, so I got negative 9 over 5, and I'm timing 5 equal dy dt. I moved this 5, I multiply 5 both sides, or you can do the division, divide 1/5 both sides, and you do reciprocal. It will be the same thing. 5 cancel out, and my answer is 9. Since they use the word decreasing already, I don't have to put that negative, so I got dy dt. You're going to say dy dt is equal 9, and it's decreasing. So when you use the word decreasing, don't put the negative sign. So the answer is B. Question number 7. What is the slope of the tangent line to the curve 3y squared minus x squared equals 6 minus 2xy at the point 3 and 2? Point means x and y values. And since they said tangent, it's a derivative and the slope. We are only looking for the slope. So I have to plug in these values once I take a derivative. So let's take a derivative, and this is implicit function. This is implicit. So I have to do the dy dx. Take the derivative of 3y squared, which is 6y, and taking a derivative of y means dy dx, minus take the derivative of x, and we don't put dx. This is a product rule. Minus 2, I'm going to keep it, and I make product rule. That's f, that's the g. F derivative is 1, keep the g, plus f stays, and g derivative is 1, and we're going to keep dy dx there. Now let's fix around the stuff. Dy dx minus 4x equal negative 2y minus 2x dy dx. Now plug in the numbers. 2 is a y value, so 6 times 2 is gonna give me, and dy dx I'm looking for actually, minus 4 times 3, negative 2 times 2, minus 2 times 3, and again dy dx. So 6 times 2 is 12, dy dx, negative 12, negative 4, minus 6 dy dx. Combine all the like terms, so I'm going to keep the dy dx on one side, so I got 12 dy dx, and plus 6 dy dx, because I moved that negative 6 to the other side of equal and changed the signs. Dy dx equal, then 12 I moved to the other side of equal, then it's turned positive, and minus 4 stays. 12 subtract 4, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. So it's going to give me 8, and dy dx is my common factor, so I got 12 plus 6 inside. 6, 7, 8, I got 18 technically, so divide 18 both sides. This is also 18 actually, okay, so I'm just going to erase it in 18. 8 over 18, and we can simplify this. 2 times 4 and 2 times 9, so 4 over 9, and the slope is 4 over 9. Question number 8. The radius of the sphere is decreasing, so let's do that. Radius of the sphere is decreasing at the rate of 2. Sphere radius, so dr dt is equal negative 2 because it's decreasing. At the instant is also something like instantaneous rate of change. That's a derivative. So that's a derivative, d something, when the radius of the sphere is 4.5. At the instant when the radius is 4.5. So that's 4.5 radius. We're going to plug it in when after we take a derivative. What is the rate of change in square centimeters per second of the surface area of the sphere? So rate of change of the surface area. So dA dt I'm looking for. Surface area of the sphere is 4 pi r square. So let's take a derivative of this and see. And you know the dA dt, I don't have a dA dt in here because if I take a derivative, surface area, I'm sorry, so it's going to be A. I just put the S. That's surface area A. So I'm going to go dA dt. 4 pi stays, that's a coefficient 2r and dr dt. Plug in everything, 4 pi times 2, radius is 4.5, and dr dt is negative 2. So this is going to give me, let's try that. Pi is going to stay as a pi, so 2 times 4.5 times negative 2 is negative 18 times 4 is going to give me negative 72. So my answer is negative 72 pi, which is B. So these are all multiple choice questions. Now here we go with the free response questions of test number 4. Free response part A. In this free response, all you have to do is read the question first carefully. Water is running into an open conical tank at the rate of 9 cubic feet per minute. Since it's cubic and it's also said rate, running into the open conical, so the water is running into it at the rate means d something dt. Anything changes of 9 cubic, so it means it's volume, because cubic goes with volume. So dv dt is equal 9. The tank is standing inverted and has a height of 10 feet and a base diameter of 10 feet. So it means the radius of the cone is 5 and the height of the cone is 10. Now this is the water right there. That's the exposed surface is a circle, and that's radius of the water, which we don't know. Height of the water we don't know. Remember, the volume of the cone is given by the formula this. At what rate, which means d something dt, is the radius, which means the rate is the radius. So d or dt of the water in the tank increasing. Since radius is increasing, it means dr dt still, when the radius is 2 feet. When? After the derivative. Okay, so let's put the volume formula, which is 1/3 pi r square h. And I told you guys this before, it's a cone. Remember the proportion. Don't forget that. Keep this in mind. Probably we need a proportion. Okay, proportion. So let's see. I'm taking a derivative in my head. It's gonna r square h means it's a product rule, and I'm gonna have a dr dt and I'm gonna have dh dt. Do I have all that stuff? And if you guys pay attention, I'm looking for dr dt, so we cannot remove the r. But do we have dh dt? No. And we don't have a height of the water either, because we are talking about rate is the radius of the water in the tank increasing. So we're talking about the related rate, or this whole thing is talking about water, so not the cone. So an h is not given for the water, and we don't have a dh dt, so it means we have to get rid of this h. So how would we get rid of the h? Using a proportion. So r over h, like the radius of the water and height of the water. Now radius of the cone is 5 and height of the cone is 10. They have to be exactly the same like that. So you cross multiply them. I am getting 10r equal 5h. And since I need to get rid of h, I'm going to make the h by itself, and I will replace it with this 2. So I got 2r equal h. I'm going to box it, and I'm going to replace this h before the derivative, because we don't have a dh dt. R square for the h, I'm going to type in 2r. So I did that. Now simplify this. I am getting 2/3 pi r cube, r square and r1 multiplying, so it's going to go r cube. Now this is my formula. Now I'm going to take a derivative of it. So let's take a derivative. dv dt equal 2/3 pi, derivative of r cube is 3r square, and dr dt. Now dv dt is given in the question, which is 9. 3 and 3 cancel out. I'm left with 2 pi. What is r? R was 2 after the derivative, which means 2 squared. And dr dt, I'm looking for it. You have to give them all the things step by step. 4 times 2 is 8 pi. Dr dt equal 9. Now divide 8 pi both sides. and you will get dr dt. Should I can simplify this further. So that's my answer. So write the units. What are the units here? I have feet per minute, and since it's a radius, it's gonna just feet per minutes. And radius mean the derivative of the radius, like it's a rate. Rate always goes with the per, feet per minute. And this question, this section of the part A is 3 points. It has 3 points. 1 point, how would you replace this h with 2r, like all of this, and replacing it and getting the new original formula? That's 1 point. The derivative is the 2nd point, and the answer is the 3rd point. So you have 3 points on this part A. Let's do part B. Part B is talking about at what rate, again, d something dt is looking for exposed surface area of the water, exposed. And if you guys check, I just said exposed surface area of the water is a circle. That's exposed. This is what we can see when we look at on top of this cone. It's a circle. So exposed area of the water is circle. So surface area of a circle we're talking about. So I'm going to say dA dt. Of the water changing, again dA dt, when the radius is 2. Again, area formula of the circle, it's pi r square. Now take a derivative in the head, dA dt, 2 pi or dr dt. Do we have a dr dt? We got dr dt up there in the question part A, which is 9 over 8 pi. So we are okay. So I'm going to take a derivative, dA dt equal 2 pi or dr dt. dA dt I'm looking for, so it's going to stay here. 2 pi and r is 2. And what is dr dt? It was 9 over 8 pi, which we got in the first part A. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 pi cancel out, and 9 over 8. Now simplify this further. dA dt over 36 over 8. So well, 36 over 8, it's going to give me 4 times 2 is 8 and 4 times 9. So 9 over 2. And since I'm talking about area, it has to be square. So feet square per minute. Per because of the derivative dA dt, like a rate. This is a rate. So 9 over 2 feet square per minute. So this part B has 3 points too. 1 point, taking a derivative. 2nd point, how do you plug in like the value in part A, like you did plug in this 9 over 8. That 2nd point. In the 3rd point is for the answer. Let's go for the next question. This is a response number 2, free response, and this all the information is given right there. They are talking about a 13-foot ladder is leaning against a house. This is 13. When its base starts to slide away, the base slides away. By the time the base is 12 feet from the house, like this is x and it's 12, the base is moving at the rate of 5 feet per second. So dx dt is your 5. That's what this is moving. Now, first part, how fast is the top of the ladder sliding down? This is top of the ladder, it's sliding down. How fast means I'm talking about rate again. So technically I'm talking about dy dt is missing. So dy dt I'm looking for. So write down here dy dt question mark. When the base of the ladder is 12 feet from the side of the house. So this x is going to be 12, and they said figure it out the rest of the stuff. So I'm using a Pythagorean theorem, x square plus y square equal 13 square. 13 is constant. So let's take a derivative of this. If I take a derivative of that, it's 2x dx dt plus 2y dy dt equals 0. Now, x is given, I don't have a y, and dy dt I'm looking for. So how would I get that y? I'm going to use a Pythagorean theorem again to get that y. So how would I get that? Let's see. X square, which is 12 square. Y square is missing. and that's 13 square. So that's 144 plus y square equal 13 square is 169. So far I remember 13 square is going to give me 169. 169 subtract 144, it's going to give me 25. So y square is equal 25. Now square root it, so y is equal 5. So this is what I got. Now let's plug in everything. Now we have everything. 2 times x is 12, dx dt is 5. 2 times 5 and dy dt, oh that's a plus sign, sorry, dy dt is going to stay equal 0. What can I do? 12 times 5, 24 times 5 is going to give me 120 plus 10 dy dt equals 0. Now move the 120 to the other side. The 0 and 120 are like terms. 10 dy dt equal negative 120 and divide by 10. So that's negative 120 divided by 10 is going to give me 12. So I have dy dt equal negative 12. And since this is dy dt, my units are around feet per second. Per is going to come because of the rate. That's a rate. So it's a negative 12 feet per second. That's the answer. This part is has 3 points. 1 point is using this formula that you figure it out. It's supposed to be Pythagorean. And you took a derivative. That's the second point, and the answer is the third point. So that's part A. Here is part B. At what rate is the angle theta? What rate? Again, d something dt is there. Is the angle theta. So d theta dt is missing. I'm looking for d theta dt. Question mark. Between the ladder and the ground changing when the ladder is 12 feet from the side of the house. So this is again, the x is going to be, the x is going to be again 12. Okay. So now I'm using a SOHCAHTOA because they are talking about theta angle. SOHCAHTOA. So let's see which one would work for us. So let me check the, okay, which one can I do? Opposite, if I do sine, so sine is going to go opposite over hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is 13, opposite is y. Since the question is talking d theta dt, all three of them would work because I'm talking about d theta dt. So if I'm doing sine theta equal, opposite was y and hypotenuse was 13. So let's take a derivative of this. I'll rewrite this first because 13 is in the bottom. I can write like 113y. So cosine theta d theta dt 1 over 13 and dy dt. Now d theta dt I'm looking for. Dy dt is given, which is negative 12. We already got this in part A. So now let's do, what about cosine theta? What is cosine? Cosine means adjacent in hypotenuse. So which one is adjacent? 12 over 13. That's 12 over 13 is my adjacent. So 12 over 13, I'm going to write there 12 over 13. D theta dt I'm looking for 1 over 13 times negative 12. So this is negative 12 over 13 equal d theta dt. And 12 over 13, this 12 over 13, I'm going to multiply both sides the reciprocal. So it's going to be 13 over 12. Cancel, 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 cancel. So d theta dt is equal negative 1. And since this is an angle, it's supposed to be radians. And since it's a derivative, it's going to be per. And what am I using? Radians per second. So this part of the question, like this part B, has three what is it called, 3 points. 1 point by using correctly the sine or cosine or tangent, whatever you want to use, whichever works. So that's what it is. And I used sine because, you know, dy dt was given, so I can easily do the y's of that. If you do the x's, then it's not given here. Dx dt is not there. Oh, dx dt is 5. You can do x too. Okay. So this is what I got. So 1 point is for picking the right formula of the trig. Second is derivative, and third is answer. So these are 2 questions. Now free response part 3. In this case, consider the closed curve in the xy plane given by the equation this. Show that dy dx is equal negative x plus 1. Show that, which means you're taking a derivative of this and get to this answer. This is the answer. This is the derivative of this question. So we have to just show them the steps. So x squared plus 2x plus y fourth plus 4y equal 5. Now take a derivative and see if we're getting this. So 2x, and since this is implicit, I'm going to have a dx, a dy over a dx. Since I'm taking a derivative of x, that's going to be dx. We don't write that. Derivative of 2 is again that 4y cube, and this is going to go dy dx plus 4 dy dx equals 0. Keep the dy dx is on one side, the rest of the stuff to the other side. 4y cube dy dx plus 4 dy dx equal negative 2x and negative 2. This one, I moved it to the other side of equal. Now dy dx is a common factor. Left with 4y cube plus 4 equal negative 2x minus 2. Divide both sides, 4y cube plus 4. 4y cube plus 4. Now, can I do anything else here to simplify this? Yes, I can. I can do common factor. Remember, for 5, I think we have properties of operations that we consider after the derivative. LCD, common factor, FOIL, distribute, and exponential properties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 different operations that always remember if you get stuck after the derivative. So now 2 is the common factor. So I'm gonna do the 2 common factor, which will give me negative 2 common factor. So I'm left with x, and I am left with plus 1. In the bottom, 2 is a common factor, which will give me 2y cube plus 2. This 2 cancel out. I'm left with negative x plus 1 over 2y cube plus 2. And that's exactly what I have up there. They also getting the 2 common factor again. So I got y cube plus 1. Y cube plus 1. And that's exactly what I have here. So that's my answer for dy dx. There you go. And this part has 2 points. 1 point taking a correct derivative, and the second point getting the answer. Okay, part B of this question. Find the equation of the line normal to the curved point. Point means this is x, that's a y. Equation means y minus y1 equal mx minus x1. So that's an equation. Now, let's figure it out, everything. And normal line. Remember, normal and tangent goes reciprocal and opposite. Reciprocal and opposite. Like they go back and forth, the normal and tangent line. So equation is y minus y1 equal mx minus x1. The points are already there. All I need is slope. So what is the slope of the equation? We got the slope right here. All I have to do is plug in negative 2 and 1 here to get that slope. So I have a slope dy dx. You know, dy dx is a slope, like a derivative, x plus 1 over 2 y cube plus 1. I'm using this and I'm plugging in the values. And guys, this is another thing you guys should see. You draw a line, like a vertical line, and write at the bottom negative 2, 1, which means I'm plugging in now these values for the derivative. So I got negative negative 2 plus 1. The bottom 2, y is 1 plus 1, y cubed plus 1. So it's technically going to give me 1/4. Like, hold on. Negative times negative is positive, and it's going to get negative 1. Let's do it. Negative 1. In the bottom, I got 2, and 2 is 4. Or negative is positive, so I got positive 1/4. So the slope is positive 1/4. So y minus y1 is 1. Slope is positive 1/4. X minus negative 2, which turns positive. So that's my equation of the, this 1/4 is the tangent slope. Okay, I should not put this. My equation is for normal line. So this is the tangent slope that we got. This is tangent slope. We know that because that's a derivative. That's a tangent slope. For the normal slope, it's going to go reciprocal and opposite, which means it's going to go negative 4. So negative 4, and this is the normal line slope. Reciprocal and opposite, and this is what my equation goes. This question has 2 points, one for the answer, like the whole equation, and again next 1 point is finding this value, like negative 4. You get the tangent whole steps 1/4, and then you get this whole thing is 1 point. This is another point. Part C, find the coordinates of 2 points on the curve where the line tangent to the curve is vertical. Vertical means when it's undefined. So undefined means we should have 1/0, something like that. Tangent means derivative. 2 points like x and y's coordinates. Like this 1 point, and that's a 2 point. So now what can we do? We have the derivative, and we're going to make it equal this. So derivative is negative x plus 1 over 2y cubed plus 1 equal 1/0 or undefined. So you cross multiply, I am getting 2y cubed plus 1 equals 0. You divide 2 both sides, and I am getting y cubed plus 1 equals 0. So this is what I got. Y cubed equal negative 1. So I got y equal negative 1. So I got negative 1, which is the y value. Now, since they are asking 2 coordinates, so it means I'm plugging in this y in the original equation, plug in. So what is my original equation? It's 2x plus 2y. I think that's what it was, if I'm not mistaken. I have to check back. X squared plus 2x. Okay, that's the derivative I'm writing. So let's erase that. I got x squared plus 2y, 2x plus y4. 2x plus y4 plus 4y equal 5. Plus 4y equal 5. So always I told you guys before, when always you missing x or y, or any one of them, you've already figured it out, like you either x or y, you figure it out, and missing another one, plug it in the original. So my x squared plus 2x plus negative 1 to the power 4 plus 4 negative 1 equal 5. It's going to give me x squared plus 2x plus 1 and negative 4 equal 5. This is going to give me negative 3 equal 5. And I got x squared plus 2x. I got all of that. Now, what else I can do here? Move the 5 and make it quadratic. So since it's already a quadratic, we can factor out. Negative 3 minus 5 equals 0, 5, 6, 7, 8. Negative 8 equals 0, and 2x plus x squared. Now, what are the factors here? My factors are x plus 4 and x minus 2. Because 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 subtract 2 is 2. So the positive sign is supposed to stay here because it's a bigger number. So my equals 0. Now, what are my x's? I have got x equal negative 4, and I got x equal positive 2. So these are my 2 points, and I'm gonna write down these 2 points like really like an answer here. It's gonna give me -4 and -1. The y value was -1 for both of them. 2 and -1. These are my two coordinates, the one they were asking me. And this question has 2 points. One for making the derivative equal, like the denominator equals 0, like this. It's undefined, so denominator equals 0. And another one to getting these points, plugging it in the original. So that's how you get the 2 points from this. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.